What's up, guys? Man, what a great day in the market. What I'm going to do real quick here, I'm going to actually do a market recap, and then I'm also going to go through how I put together my watch list. So you'll actually see what my watch list is for tomorrow, at least until tomorrow morning when we find the gaps that are available for the upside and the downside. So the first thing that I do every night when I go through I go to do my watch list. First off, this is the trade that I took today. Um, we had the Spirit Aero Systems, and man, this is a beautiful. So again, opened up, and I was looking for an opening range breakout, right, which is three candles sideways and a break on the third candle. So I mean, again, we're looking for a consolidation break. We're not looking for herky jerky candles that go up and down. We're just looking for three candles sideways on the third candle. I had assumed it was going to break, and of course it didn't. It came back down, and that's fine because again, my stop loss was down here under the 9 EMA. Right, I was going to put it pretty tight with the VWAP, but I was like, well, just kind of it really didn't give me that big of a push, so I just kind of kept my stop loss at the 9 EMA, and then of course it pushed up, went sideways a little bit, then it broke again, and it just stair stepped all day. Like this is a beautiful, beautiful clean chart, right? So I mean, look, it goes up, stair steps, up, stair step, and then it pulls back to the 9 and it just keeps grinding and grinding. And look, no offense, I got out right up here, right? So this is where I got out up here at this point. Once I saw this little let's see here, if we can see like this little bend in the 9 EMA, that kind of bothered me, right? So anytime your 9 EMA starts to kind of go sideways or starts to kind of curl over, that's kind of a good signal when to get out. So if you look, there's really no bend. I mean, other than maybe this little bend right here. But again, that wasn't nothing. I'm looking for a bend that goes over and not a bend under. So, but yeah. So at this point, this is when I got out, and I kind of left some money on the table. As you can see, I got out right around 26.75, and of course it goes all the way up here to almost 27.75. So I could have got an extra buck per range, but it just didn't happen, and that's okay, right? It's gonna happen. And then of course the after hours, man, that's when it really started cooking even better. So I mean, look, stock was up 25% today, right? Almost $6 move. That's pretty hot, right? So there is a good chance that tomorrow, if this thing opens up weak, right? If it opens up weak, we may be able to get some opportunities for a red to green play. If it opens up strong, we'll be looking for an opening range breakout, as well as potential for a quick pullback buy, especially if it opens up strong and pushes up. So we'll go ahead and we'll flag this one on our list. What I'll do is I'll go ahead and flag the stocks that I'm looking for, and I'll put this on my list, and then we'll call my list down, right? Because I have different things I do. I run my liquid gainer scan. I go through the liquid gainers for the day. If I feel like I'm not going to have enough, or I should have if I should have some sort of a bias the next day for some shorts, then I'll go through my top loser scan right down here, and then I'll also go through my go-to stock list, and then I'll also go through recent IPOs from the last 2 years to see if there's anything potentially that I would like to play on the next day as well. So that's kind of what I do each and every night. But the one thing I like to do, and this is one thing that I think all traders should be getting in the habit of doing, is when you see stocks that were moving, stocks that were up, right? We want to study the momentum. We want to be able to study. We want to be able to kind of see, right? We can't really predict what a stock is going to do, but we want to kind of study the movements that it takes, right? The movements that occur, so we can have some sort of relative prediction of when momentum will occur and what happens when that stock does experience a momentum play. So as you can see, the same was on my list from yesterday, and I was in other stuff today, so I didn't really have a chance to hit this. But as you can see, right, and we look at our daily chart, right, a lot of these stocks right now, I mean, look, obviously, let's take a look at the SPY real quick here. So we've got the SPY, right? I mean, listen, dude, this is where we were back before the market tanked for the COVID-19 pandemic, right? And we got all the way down here to 220, and we had just kind of roared back. And I had said, this is what I said. I will. I want to say in my video last week, one of my trade recaps I did actually may have been on my Sunday night market prep for the week. As I said, if we can get back above the 200 SMA, right, which is the red line here on my daily chart, I said if we can get back above that, I think that we're just going to push all the way through back to all-time highs, which is right up around here at 340. And sure enough, we remounted the 200 SMA. We had one day right here where it was down, but again, I mean, look at this. It goes from 300 up here. We're up at 312, right? 3012. What the hell? But 312. So I really think now I don't expect tomorrow to be a big update for the market, just because stocks typically you move in 3 to 5 day chunks, right? So again, right now, if tomorrow, tomorrow that would be day 5, right? And you can go back through any chart and look pretty much. I mean, you're gonna have now it doesn't necessarily matter so much for intraday trades, but if you look at your daily charts, you can go back and look at almost any chart, and you're gonna see pretty much the same thing. Like you might get a day 6 or day 7, but again, you're kind of really getting extended on those days, right? So it's usually best to wait for a pullback, to a moving average, whether it be your 9 EMA or your 20 SMA on your daily. So again, like I teach my students at our Parabolic Trading Bootcamp, the daily chart is our Bible. It tells us what we should do on each and every stock, right? But we also have to use some common sense. So if you got a stock that's up, and listen, I've seen stocks that go up 16, 17 days in a row. There's just no way I can get in on that, right? Because I'm a momentum trader. And if you're on day 17, you know, just how much further can it go up, right? Because the second you get in that trade, right, that's when your momentum's going to stop. It's going to go the opposite way. That's just the trader's luck, so to speak, right? That's what happens when we try to trade like that. So again, this is kind of what we see, right? We have the ability to really kind of, I don't want to say predict, but we kind of have an idea of how we can foretell what most likely will occur. And then we develop our attack plan around that, right? So again, but back to what I was saying. So I had save on my list the other day, and now if you look, a lot of the market is up, and I mean, just stocks everywhere are just ripping. Like I'm not kidding. I saw plenty of articles say the market doesn't care, right? People are out of work. But again, people are starting to come back to work. Some of these employers, they're not laying people off, or they're ending their furloughs because people are starting to get back to normal, which is kind of funny, right? Because if you think about it, a few weeks ago, it was imperative that we all stay quarantined because of a second phase of the COVID-19. But with that cop, killing that young man up in Minnesota, and all this rioting and all this other bullshit that's going on. Obviously now people don't care about social distancing, they don't care about masks, and the media seemingly and conveniently forgot or have ignored or just kind of moved on from the whole, oh, COVID is going to kill the world kind of thing, right? So they've got a new narrative, they got some new ratings ploy. So again, I have my own personal opinions on that, and I'm not going to bore you with them. But if we look here, right, and if we look, if we draw a trend line across here, tomorrow is a very good chance that this will be a flat top breakout, right? But again, this would be on a day 5, right? So I'm not really sure. Like, we have to always think about where the move started, right? It's not just so much about, a breakout. It's, can the breakout and be sustained, right? Can a stock break out and sustain its movement? If it's on day 5, chances are not so much, right? So again, would I be looking to long this tomorrow? I would let price action dictate whether or not I would take a trade on this. I will keep it on my list just in case. However, if you had taken my suggestion on Sunday night, and put this on your watch list and got in on Monday, man, you could have ripped from down here at 13 and we're up to 18.75, right? $4.26. and just today. Now, yesterday would have been kind of an inside day, right? It would have been that big of a deal. It didn't move much. It just kind of just sat around all day. But again, for a swing trade, this thing was awesome, right? This thing was awesome. But again, what I like to do when I go through the day's plays is I like to look back at the momentum for the day and say, hey, look, if I was going to consider the stock, what would be my entries? What would be the patterns that I would like to take for these? So as you can see here, I mean, you've kind of got a little opening range breakout, right? You got three candles sideways. This middle candle here, I don't like it. The wick would have probably stopped me from doing taking it on an opening range breakout. I most likely would have waited for the push up, right? And then a pull back and then a hold of the 9 EMA. When I say a hold of the 9 EMA, I'm talking about a green candle to hold, right? Preferably, I would have liked it to come back to the 20 on here, but that's okay. Hindsight's always 20/20. And again, I didn't take the trade, so I didn't miss any opportunities. But again, if you could have gotten in there here about 15.75, maybe giving yourself, probably maybe 20-cent stop loss. Depending on what you're willing to risk per trade. You could have taken a decent size here and gone from 15.75 up here to 16.75. You could have ripped $1 a share. And then, of course, we had the sideways consolidation, right? And once it broke here, you could have gotten in at, let me fix this trend line here. You could have gotten in here at 16.75. Man, that's not, it's not bad. And then it presses up, another 75 cents, and that's the middle of the day. So that's pretty good. Now you get the end of day push, right? So here, let me fix this. Sometimes my lines don't always look that straight, and even then, look, you can see where it says 0.23%, so or 0.25%. But you could have got it in here at the break at 1680, got it up to 1750, and then perhaps even up to 1760. That would have been a nice play, right? So that's going to be on my list for tomorrow. We've got the Zuo, or Zuora, or whatever the hell it is. It just kind of sat around all day, right? Did nothing. And then, of course, at the end of the day, man, it pressed in, beat earnings, and look what happened. Look what happened. This is why earnings plays are so hot, right? Earnings is probably the best time of the year to trade for any stock, right? When a stock has earnings, it does amazing. When it beats earnings, it beats estimates, it beats revenue expectations. Man, stocks can go nuts, right? Look at this. This stock was down here at 1250 all day. That's where it was all day. Earnings come out, bam, just presses right up. Look at this, man. This is hot. This is like really, really hot. Same thing for tomorrow, right? Now, this one here is a little extended, right? Because if we look at our 9 EMA on our daily chart, is right down here about 1260, 1247, around that 1250. Let's just call it 1250 for math purposes, right? So it's a little extended. However, this is a good possibility that tomorrow morning, some of these people that got in, they're going to sense that the stock's going to tank. They're gonna sell up their profits, right? They're going to take their profits. There may be in a little bit of a dump, so you may have an opportunity for a day two continuation. But again, you can't chase this one up, right? You can't chase it up on string. Your best bet is wait for this one to pull back, right? So you want to pull back to a moving average support, and then of course you'll go in there and you're going to set your stop loss right under your closest moving average and let it go, right? But again, this is not really kind of what I would want to do for tomorrow. But again, that's how you would play that. The Signet Jewelers, man, they just do. Like, look up here. So you got the open push, right? And then you've got this little just sideways. You're probably waiting for an opening range breakout on this. Once it breaks here, it's kind of a failed opening range breakout, right? But it pulls back and it holds the 9 and the VWAP. Once it bounces off, this is one with like a VWAP bounce, right? So it pulls back to the VWAP, bounces up, right? So you could have got in here about 12.25, maybe giving yourself, like, I'm not kidding you, maybe 5-10 cent stop loss if you want to be a little bit conservative and not get stopped out. I probably would have gone with a 5-cent stop loss in this just because I like to live a little dangerous on the edge. And look what happens. It just shoots up, ran from 12.25, gets all the way up here to almost 14.25. Man, you could have ripped, right? You could have ripped. So again, a lot of these stocks that were up early in the year before the pandemic, as you can see, this is almost the same pattern we're going to see on a lot of these stocks, right? They got beaten down so bad. I mean, dude, this stock was up at like 30 bucks, $32 back in middle of January, and it got down all the way to like around $6, right? Not too long ago. And now all these stocks are starting to roar back. So this is like a swing trader's market. You could probably get into these things right now. The only concern I have with taking this for a swing would be the fact that Signet is still under its 200 SMA. If it could remount the 200 SMA, I think that this thing has upside back to earlier highs this year. So again, but you want to be a little bit careful because again, it has to bust through that 200 SMA. Not real sure if it's going to. Most likely it will, but this might be another play where you might want to wait for it to kind of move back because you can see the move started down here at a little over $10. So again, for a stock that was $10 and now it's 15. I don't think it's going to keep doubling its price every day. So at some point you're going to have to expect a rest period for the stock to move. But again, that might be a good opportunity for you to load in when it does pull back. And again, a lot of these stocks now that are getting beaten down, you could have taken some decent sized shares and just held them, right? And that's the hardest thing to do as a day trader. Is when you're taking swing trades, because as a day trader, you're used to holding trades for seconds to minutes to a couple hours, right? We're not used to holding things overnight because we don't want that additional market risk exposure to any PR news or any gap downs in the morning, because that just really kills it for us. But again, that's the whole point, is that we need to be in the business of actually taking swings and putting them in either our retirement portfolios or just our swings that we're not actively micromanaging like we do our day trades. But again, this would be another one that I would probably put on my list for a watch for a potential swing. But again, it's a day 3, right? So tomorrow would be day 4. We don't want to be in the business of adding things on day 4. But again, I'm going to put this on my list just so I can kind of keep an eye on it later this week to see if it does pull back. And if not, I'm going to look for a pullback early next week. And then I'll probably load up some. Again, we already went over this SPR. But again, this is the same thing, right? You've got tons and tons of room up to the upside, up to your 200 SMA, right? And the 200 SMA is right around the same area that it was earlier this year when the whole COVID pandemic just kind of went to shit. So this might be a really good opportunity for you to add this as well. Let's see, I do have this flagged. You could add this as a swing trade, and you could potentially hold this, and you might be able to rip. If it just gets back to the 200 SMA, that's $30, right? $30. You take 100 shares of that, guess what? You're making $3,000, right? All for what? All because you bought and just held, right? So that's how simple this market is. Man, there's a lot of them that were up like 23, over 20. Like I usually go through my list here until I get down down to 3%. Anything less than 3%, I'm not really interested in because it's not momentum for me. Man, but I got a feeling this is like right now. You got to figure. I got 542 stocks in this, right? So what you can do if you have a problem, right? And look, I have a price history of I only want stocks that are $10 or more, right? That also have a volume surge of 1.5 times, right? 1.5 times relative volume, and of course, I want a minimum volume of 1 million shares. So I have 542 stocks that meet that criteria. So I mean, if you want any indication today was a hot day to play the market, man, this is it right here, right? I mean, look, if you look right down here, I don't know if you can really see this, right? 542 right here. Over here on my top losers for the day, 153, right? That's almost a 3 or 4 to 1 ratio for gainers against losers. So that right there kind of tells you how hot the market is. You kind of get an idea. And that's the same thing when I look at, like when I go to Market Chameleon in the morning and I look at the pre-market action, like I'll look at the gainers, in the pre-market and I'll look at the losers. And if the pre-market has an astronomically bigger amount for gainers than they do for losers, I kind of know that my bias for the day is going to be long, right? I'm not really looking to short anything unless it's something very specific that has really, really bad news that I know I can hit and hit quickly. So, man, like I don't know, I probably can't even go through all these, right? Like I typically, if I wasn't making a video, I probably would go through all these just for the fact that I don't want to miss a hot play. But I can't obviously go through 542 stocks and then of course go through my go-to stock list and things like that. So we'll go through a few of these here, and I'll see things that that I like, and I'll put on my list. Because I still have things on my list that are almost everyday plays or everyday considerations for me. Like again, this berry was nothing special in the morning, but then, man, like it popped, right? So this baritone play, same thing, right? Play started opened at the beginning of the day, right? And it didn't stop until it got all the way up here to like 1725. That's pretty hot, right? And this is another stock that was beaten down. Like this one here, probably another stock to add to your swing list, right? 16 bucks. What do you have to lose, right? You pick up a couple hundred shares of that. If you pick up 200 shares of that and it goes back to 30 bucks, man, that's not bad. You're making over $1,000, right? So again, you need to be in the business, and plus we're almost on a another opportunity for a flat top breakout, right? So again, and on TC2000, if you maybe you don't want to put this on your list, maybe you do, but you mark your trend line here. You go here, right click the trend line, click set alert, and it will alert you the second it gets above that, right? So you'll get a little screen that'll pop up on here, and it will tell you, hey, play has crossed above your trend line, or it has crossed down below your trend line, whatever your alert is. So that way there, you kind of know, like, oh, you know what, I forgot about that. I was watching that, but I was interested, but I didn't put it on my list. So that's what I do. Like I usually have probably every day, I probably have anywhere from 30 to 40 alerts on stocks, not just things I've done the night before, but they're things that have been marked in previous days and they just haven't reached that point. And once they do, I get alerted. So if I'm not in a trade, then there's a possibility that I may want to take that trade if the setup presents itself. Sorry, the ticker ring gets hot as balls, man. 11 o'clock at night and it's still 80 degrees. So yeah, so I on TC2000 you can just hit the F key and it will flag it, and that automatically add it to your flag list. And that just doubles as my watch list. Let's see here. Air, another thing, man. It had pressed up in the open, then it pulled back to your 20 in the VWAP, which is kind of powerful, right? You got double support here. You could have taken this trade right here at 22.50, giving yourself, man, maybe 20-30 cent stop loss. Look at it, presses up, goes over here. You could have even gotten back in on this range break right here. On this range break, bam, damn, that's nice, man. There's so many hot plays. Like my watch list is gonna be freaking 30 stocks long tomorrow. No, I'm gonna have to call it down, right? Again, another stock, right? Look at this. I've been watching this one prior, right? So this one here, man, this might be my swing for tomorrow. This might be a swing for me, right? Look at this. You get it at 10 bucks and it goes back up to 20. Man, you roll some serious shares of that, man. You can make some serious money. Nice. ETFs are doing okay, but there's so much hotter plays, right? I mean, this is not bad. A $3 move for a $16 ETF, but again, it's on day 3, and and again, if you look, all these stocks, they look like hockey sticks, right? And like these are like typical bear flags, right? But they're all popping up above the 9 EMA now. So They're reversing, right? This is a trend reversal. Actually, this is just a a consolidation break, right? Mm, mm, mm. Let me see here. Let me check something real quick here. Hang tight for a second. Yeah, these are nice. It's a nice base breakout, right? They came down, they hit the bottom, and the nice thing is you can time these things, right? If you can time the bottom of a stock, and you can catch it at the bottom, you usually can make a pretty good living off of that, right? Um, Man, I'm gonna have to add this to my list. This might be another swing for me as well. Um, Damn, there are some plays. Man, my watch list is already up to. Oh, what the? All right, my watch is already up to 23 items, right? SPG, same thing. Look at this, man. You've got room. All these stocks have room up until the 200 SMA. Right? That's almost what? That's $45, right? It's $45, and you're gonna get a flat top breakout off this one, obviously. So again, draw your trend line. But yeah, I'm not gonna put this on my list because my list is gonna be too long, right? But I'll set some alerts, and if it breaks over, it breaks over, right? We got Cheesecake Factory. Oh, good lord, man. So look at, I don't know, man. I used to like them a lot. Now this one here, we're already up. It's already up at its 200 SMA. You really don't have much room. I mean, you probably got what, maybe 80 cents up until the. If it breaks over the 200 SMA, yeah, that might be a good idea, right? I might take something like that. But right now, I've got hotter plays. That's sad to say. That's not a bad. That's like again, Azul. You got room up to 28, but again, I'm not real sure if I don't really want to take any airline trades at this point, right? Just because until people start getting back on the planes all the time, I have no desire to uh, take a fly in the dark. I mean, granted, yes, there's been some movers, right? Like um, you got UAL, right? I mean, it's got room back up to 70, but still, I mean, just a couple weeks ago it was down to 20. So, um, I mean, you've got room. Like you could buy some stocks and just hold, and you could probably do okay, right? You could probably do okay. But again, I wouldn't want to be buying on day four, right? So, we can put this on our list for a potential swing. They wait for it to come back. Let's see. So since it's already on the list, it kind of went down here. Um, Nah. And this is a nice thing too about TC2000. I can hit the space bar, right, and I can just go through. Like, she already got my levels marked out. And this is back from MGM prior, right? So these were levels back to like last year. Now this one's kind of remounted, but here's the problem, and this is what I was talking about before, right? You got to consider where the move started. The move started down here at about sub $10, right? And it's gone from 10 all the way back up here at 27. Um, Listen, at some point you're gonna need some consolidation, right? Because stocks are like people. When stocks run a race, they're gonna need some time to. They need some time to recover. They need some time to rest to get ready for the next move, right? Again, so let's say that each of these candle or each of these days equates to 1 mile, right? If you run this many miles, can you turn around and do that again? Can you do it every day? Maybe not. You might need to take a rest, right? You sure as hell couldn't do it in one day, right? So again, the key here on Avis would be whether or not it can hold its 200 SMA. Um, I'm not so sure it can. I mean, it did kind of close strong for the day, but again, I'm not real sure, right? I mean, it's possible, but I think there's hotter plays out there. We have AEO, American Eagle Outfitters. Not interested. I don't have it's not enough range for me. All right, we've got this the deluxe corp. It's got some room, right? It's got some room. But man, like I said, look at all these down. Like I said, stocks will move typically in 3 to 5 days. You'll have your exceptions, but again, this was the whole coronavirus pandemic, so that's kind of understandable. But all these stocks, they've come down, they hit the bottom, right? And if you can get a stock that's come down and hit the bottom, right? You can get it when it hits the bottom, or get it when it's close to the bottom. You've got a lot of chance for the upside. I mean, what else do you have to lose, right? Because look, the stock's not going to go to zero, right? Obviously, for the stock to go to zero, the company had to go out of business or be delisted or have some kind of thing go on, right? Like even LK, the fraudulent Chinese coffee stock, like it got down to like a buck something, and yet it's still coming back, right? Obviously, it's not making huge moves, but again, it. I don't think it'll be back at what it was trading at last year or earlier this year at 40. But I do see getting it at 250. You could probably potentially get it back to 10, right? I mean, if you can pick up a bunch of shares now and hold it till it gets back to 10, maybe 15, even 20, like seriously, that's like how hard. Like you're making money hand over fist, right? If you can make $7-8 a share just by holding it, listen, sometimes that's even better than what you can make day trading it, right? Like you'd have to trade a crazy amount of shares. Like here, let's just pull up LK for right now. For LK, I mean, this is what it did today, right? The high was 270 or 268 or something. Yeah, 268. So you got the high of 268, right? And you're only getting maybe 51 cents average true range, right? So again, you're not going to get a crazy amount of range, but again, look at all this room it has to go. I mean, obviously, you're going to have to clear some serious resistance level when it comes to your support average or your moving averages. But again, if it can get back up to here, if it can get back to the 200 SMA, if you buy something for $2 and you can turn around and sell it for $23 a share, you'll make more doing that than you could day trading this thing back and forth every day. I mean, it's just it's a lot of chop. All the move was right here, and then it just went down, right? Went down, and then it popped back part of the way. Just there's hotter plays out there, but again, what do you have to lose, right? You could buy 300 shares, 250 shares, whatever it is, right? $500-600 trade. Right? That's what you got tied up in it. And worst case, if it goes back to zero, then big deal, right? You lost $500-600. I know it's a big deal, but again, if you lose $600, just stick with me. If you lose $600, how bad would that suck, right? It would suck, right? But if you had 300 shares and it moved back to the 200 SMA, you're probably talking about $20. If you get $20 a share and you got 300 shares, man, you just made six fucking grand. Sorry for cursing. You made $6 grand, right? And what'd you risk? $600, right? That's a 10-to-1 reward to risk ratio, right? And you're not even risking that because again, it's not going to go back down to zero. It's not going to go to zero. So you're not even risking 600, right? You're not even risking 600. Man, it's hot. Boeing, another thing, right? Look at this. Boeing's got room all the way back. Like people forgot, like they made planes that crashed, that fell out of the sky, right? Don't care, right? Boeing got hammered. Boeing was down to $100 at the bottom. If you could have picked them up here, you could have ripped it and held it up to 178. It came back down to around 120. You could have rehit it again for another $50 move, and most likely it's probably going to go up tomorrow, even though it's day 4, day 5. You don't want to be buying on those late days, right? Because if you see all these moves, right, everyone else has already seen them. Everybody else is already in them. The people that mattered already got into it, right? If you're getting in here, it's just because these people down here are going to start selling you their shares, right? And then it's going to come back, and now you're going to be holding the bag, right? Don't chase, right? Like, again, it's a good stock to be in, right? But look at that. We're almost $28 off our 9 EMA. It's way too extended, right? I mean, seriously, you're going to have to give yourself a $28 stop loss, right? That's bullshit. That's stupid. Don't do it. Man. Red Rock Resorts. You could have got here at the 9 or even at the 20, right? From 14 up here to 1480. And then just kind of grinded and did the dipsy do all day. So again, win casinos, like all these stocks, man. Look at this. We're only 23 stocks into this, right? 23, and I probably already added a whole bunch of shit to my. I think I've added probably like 7 or 8 stocks already. Again, I'm not sure. Did we put this on there? Yeah, we did. All right. So, Outfront Media. Real estate's been hot this week. Denny's restaurant. I don't know. I don't know why that was over there, but look at, got a flat top breakout, right? You actually have some room up to 17. This might be another one I'll flag just for a potential. I'll probably end up taking that one off just because there's not much. Now, we're talking about getting in on something before it starts moving, right? So again, we see this is Red Robin hamburgers, right? They have pretty decent food, but man, they got hammered, right? Hammered all the way down to $6. Then it popped back up to around here, around the 15, and then of course, I started tracking it back then, and just didn't. But man, there's a possibility it could happen. But again, you only have, you probably have room up. It'll probably get rejected at the 26 resistance level. So I don't know. I think we have hotter plays. Again, Nail, just a nice 3x ETF for home builders. Like I said, home builders, real estate was hot this week, right? They're doing good. Man, you got room. And listen, like this, put this thing on your list, right? I think this tomorrow, I think this breaks out. That's the one thing that I've noticed about the pandemic is home sales are up. Who would think, right? We're supposed to be quarantined. People are buying shit, right? They're buying homes, right? Because listen, real estate stocks are nice and all, but real estate's what you want to be in. Citigroup, man, yeah, I don't mess with banks. Look, you can even see like it only gives you like a $1.70 range. Like it may get up here, but it's gonna take a long time, right? I don't want my capital tied up and stuff. So let's see here. Man, I've already got so much stuff on my list. Like honestly, I don't even have to go through my top losers, right? Honestly, I don't even have to go through my go-to. But here, I'll just show you what I do anyways, right? So I'll go through my go-to list, right? And the same thing, I want to see, these are stock, my go-to stock list is the stocks that I have traded well in the past, or things that I have watched, things I have studied, things I'm familiar with, right? So this is not like some stock I've never traded before, or was a big loser for me. These are stocks that I know that these are like former momentum stocks, right? Things that I did well in. And I'll just usually go down through the list here to see if there's anything that popped off. Chances are we're already going to see many of these things because a lot of them do pop up on the liquid gainers quite a bit. MGM, used to trade that a lot. Let's see. And then you can start seeing you'll start seeing themes pop up, right? Like, we've already seen some casinos, right? And we've seen some airlines. Luckin Coffee. This is what there it is. And again, the sad thing is this thing was up 13% today, but only moved 30 cents. All right, Las Vegas Sands. Like these are all sympathy plays, right? SeaWorld Entertainment, right? So that people are starting to get back to doing their thing now, and of course people have been cooped up for 3+ months. They're going out and get to do something really cool. So. Under Armour, again, and then of course, like I said, I'll go through my IPO list, right? These are stocks that have been issued in the last 2 years. Look at this. ZM. What a bad mother effer, right? Man, this swing pattern is phenomenal, right? If you look, I'm going to give you a free pattern to learn right here, right now. Pull back to the 20 SMA, a remount of the 9 has not failed me yet once this year, right? Once I see a pullback to the 20 and a remount of the 9, man, it just goes, right? I'm 100% win rate on this year. So it pulls back to the 20, right? Once it remounts to 20 right here, and then it remounts to 9, I hit this bad boy, and then boom, look at this. Like, we're still up here. I'm still in this trade, by the way. So should you be. But again, not right now, right? You gotta wait for it to pull back. We're way too extended right here. Our 9's right here. It's $190, right? $225. You're talking what, $35, risk per share. Yeah, listen, you got better things to do, man. Space, Virgin Galactic, whatever. We always call it space because it's just what it's supposed to mean, I guess. Yeah, no. Here, look, I got this changed by volume. Let's go by percentage, right? Huge was big in the pre-market. It was shit during the day, though. Let's see. Yeah, see, that's the hard thing about IPOs and stuff is if they're recent, they may not do much volume, right? And if they're not doing any volume, like, you don't want to be in any of this shit. Like seriously, you can get into the trade, you sure as hell can't get out, not very easily, right? Like here, you got this Sohan, 23,000 shares, right? But if you look at it, you're like, man, this stock does some business, right? No, it doesn't. Look at it. This is the daily chart. Like all these little dashes sideways, there was no trades during this time period at all. So. But yeah, you can just go through your list, like see, like right here, Contour Brands. I don't know. It's got some room up to 32. But again, you can see almost all these daily charts are kind of mimicking the same thing. They're coming down, like this one here. Oh man, just there's no volume, right? Look nice, no volume. This is pretty recent too. Like this is like back this year. Yeah, Casper, man, you got a chance. Like you've got some room, right? I mean, there's no 200 SMA because it hadn't been open for 200 days. We just got the 50 in the middle of April, so I think you have hotter plays. I mean, it'd be nice if it can get from, but it's just not. It doesn't have any very big days, so. There can be hotter plays out there, but again, I'm just gonna stick with the list I got here. Let's go through my list real quick, and I'll tell you which ones I'm gonna take off. I will keep save on my list because again, that will be a potential swing for me if it breaks out. I don't get enough range for me. Well, I mean, I do get a little bit of. I mean, yes, today was probably a good range day, but that's I don't know. I don't know if I would day trade this. I mean, if price action was there, I probably would. Signet Jewelers. I got this on my list for the watch. I'm gonna keep this on there just for the watch for to remount this 200 because I do think this does get back up. I'm gonna keep this on here. Let's see, we've added. I don't know. I think I can, man. Like, look at this. It looks like a small ass candle, right? It's a $4 day. So Denny's, I don't know. I don't think it's gonna hold. It might. I don't know. We'll put it on there. We'll keep it. Nail. I definitely think that breaks our trend line. BTIQ. Man, this thing was hot, but that was on my list for today. I just didn't play it. Let's see. We got Soxel. Man, this is the kind of stuff you can get some range on, man. But again, we're getting close to the 200 SMA, and I don't think it's going to bust that. I just don't. I do keep things like Dust, JDST, JNUG, and Nugget on my list pretty much almost every day, just because I think it's going to. Man, look at this LVGO. Look at this pullback. All right, pullback hit pullback to the 20 today. Right, and then just automatically remount to the 9. Goes from $60 to almost 62. Right, that's why this one's on the list again, man. I think tomorrow. Watch this. I think tomorrow it breaks this. So again, if it opens up strong tomorrow, I want to know because I want to hit this bad boy. But again, there's JDST, and of course, once in a while, I'll keep things like SPXL or Kevich or things like that on my list, just in case there's no hot plays. But right now, I don't really need that. XLNX, man, the saying. I told you all on Sunday night this was gonna work, right? I didn't work on Monday, but man, I knew. Once you got that 9 EMA curled up underneath there, baby, your risk is so minimal. Look at it, it goes from 90 up here to 95, right? And look, it's got plenty of room to go. PD, take it off the list. Ping was another one I had called out the other night on Monday, and look at that, man. Mm, 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 mm. Nice, nice, nice. But got hotter plays. I don't want to be watching 30 stocks. I really don't. Vivo, I thought Vivo had a chance to kind of keep doing what I thought it was going to do, but we had room all the way up here, but it busts through the 20. Now we're below the 9, so we're taking that off the list. ACB, I don't know. It's going to have to hold this 9 for it to be anything special. But again, my preferred scenario would be to pull back to the 20 and then remount the 9, obviously. OSTK, I think I took a short in this earlier today just because I really felt like it was extended. It was out. It kind of matched the criteria for a rubber band snackback pattern that we play here. But again, I'll keep this on my list because I do think that this has room to fall, and I do think it does go to the 20 SMA. Just a hunch. It's not like I have any special insight. AVLR, and I told you all on Monday this was a good play, right? We're taking that off the list, and that's it, right? This is my stop, or this is my watch list, right? So what I'll do is on YouTube, I will copy a link to this. So if you have TC2000, you can just download it. Whoops, maybe if I might have spell freaking June. What the hell, June? What the? Listen, I literally have been hitting the U key. Right? I guess my keyboard is kind of slowing up. What is tomorrow? Tomorrow is the 4th, right? So we'll call it June 4th watch list. Right? So all you got to do. All right, let me pull up my watch list here. Might help if I did that, right? Let's see. Where's the watch list at? June 4th. There we go. All right. So what I'll do is I'll just take this and I will copy it to a link, and then all you can do is just click it, and it will automatically download into your TC2000, where it will show up right up under here under these 3 little balls that are connected, right? So once you click that, then you can just click on the link and it will download in there. All right. So hopefully, again, I will check this in the morning. I may do a live stream in the morning, kind of go over the watch list that I have. Maybe we'll go over some gappers. We'll see if any gappers or some earnings plays will change our watch list. So it's very well possible that tomorrow we could have 5 or 6 or 10 really, really hot earnings play, and this whole list that we just built here tonight is thrown out the window. I don't think so, but you never know, right? That's why we do our homework the night before, right? Because we have no idea what's going to happen the next day. Now, I used to do my homework in the morning, right? But the problem is that once I got through going all this stuff, I didn't want to trade because I was always like, oh, I'm done looking at charts, right? Because I'll look at anywhere from 800 to 1,000 charts to get the best idea that I can get. Last thing I want to do after I look at 1,000 charts is sit and look at a bunch of charts the rest of the day waiting to make plays. So I like to do my homework the night before because I feel like it gives me a better edge. Plus, that way there, I'm not rushing because there's been times I'm waking up late to get ready for the market, and if I don't have enough time and I can't do my homework, I can't trade, right? If you don't do your homework, how can you trade? How can you take a test if you don't trade? Well, the test is when the market opens, right? The homework and studying is what you do before. All the money you make is done in the after hours, right? It's done before the market opens. It's done after the market's closed. It's all the extra research, all the extra reading, all the extra chart views, all the extra analyzation of price moves and price patterns and past moves for stocks. That's where your money's made, right? You do all your homework then, so when the opportunity presents itself, all you gotta do is click buttons, right? That's the test, man. All right. So hopefully this helps you out a little bit. I might start doing this every night, just because I think it kind of helps me focus a little bit more, and it makes. Plus, there'll be nights where I'm like, oh, I'll just do my watch list in the morning. Like I haven't done it in a while, but I'm starting to get that feeling because it's hot, right? So I don't want to do my watch list at 8 o'clock when it's balls hot, right? So maybe if I commit to doing watch lists every night, and then maybe doing live streams in the morning for you all, then maybe it'll help me with my trading. And not that I really need it, but again, it helps make me more consistent, makes me more reliable, makes me more I don't know. Just look how can consistency hurt being a profitable trader? It can't, right? Because that's what we want as a profitable trader. We want to be consistently profitable. But in order to do that, we have to be consistent in everything that we do, right? We have to be routine based. So perhaps this will get me back on track and maybe reinvigorate. I kind of like making these videos and stuff. So again, if you could do me one favor, please, if you find this video helpful, do me a favor, hit the like button. All right, subscribe, please subscribe, right? And then of course hit the notification bell. So you can get notified of each and every time I upload a video. I'll probably be doing a lot more of these. I have a boot camp coming up for new students on June the 8th, and I'd like to be able to do a lot more stuff as far as putting additional videos out, because teaching classes is great and all, but I'm kind of really stuck with the pattern I'm teaching them, right? So I don't really go out of my way to do something different for each boot camp. It's just I want to make sure everybody has the same information so they're prepared the same. But I like sharing the trades I take, and apparently from some of the feedback I've gotten from people, they like that I share how I got into the trade, the patterns I saw, my profit targets, or reasons that I sold, or when I sold, or why I sold. So again, guys, thanks for watching the video, and again, remember, like I said, please hit the like button, subscribe to the video, subscribe to my channel, and of course hit that notification bell. All right, thanks a lot, guys.